Welcome back. This is a almost one year update on my UGREEN NAS, which is a network attached storage. Particularly, this is the DXP4800 Plus. You may have seen my video, the unboxing video, or you may have seen my, installing installing UNRAID onto this thing, or you may have seen my thermal upgrade video where I replaced the fan with a Noctua fan and I replaced the thermal compound on the CPU. Or you may have not seen any of my videos, but this is a 1 year update. I know it's only been 10 months. I haven't thought about it. It's just been running in the background. It haven't given me any issues. So I kind of just forgot about it. I know I said that I was going to make a update video in a couple months after my initial videos. I just kind of forgot about it. And someone left a comment a few days ago, and now I am owning up to it. So here's a little update. Now, first of all, I just want to briefly go over why I got this thing. So the number one reason is for storage. It's very flexible. I used to have all my archival video and files on this 8 terabyte G-Tech little USB 3 hard drive, and I don't know, I didn't feel very safe with it. I mean, like, if it dies, there's all my files, it's all gone. I needed some redundancy, so that was part of the biggest reason why I got this. The second reason why I wanted to get this was I wanted my own home media server where I can put all my favorite TV shows, all my movies, all the music on this thing, where then I can access it on any device while I'm at home or when I'm away from home. I'll still have access to all my stuff. And then the third reason would be to put game servers on it. I don't game as much anymore. I've only put a Minecraft server on it, but at the time I had all these plans to put all these game servers on it, but I barely play any games now. Anyway, and last but not least, why I got this was because my friend Kane talked me into buying it, and that's it. Yeah. Now I kind of want to talk over how it's set up, because it's a little special how I'm doing it. So the way this thing is set up is that I live in a house and I have two Wi-Fi networks, actually. One provided by my ISP and another one just for my room. I know this complicates everything, but I'm not the only one that lives in this house. I have housemates, so I'd like everything that's mine to be on one network, which complicates things, but it's not super complicated. Here's a little graph or diagram I drew of my setup. It's basically a sub network or a different network on there, and then I just have everything hooked up to a switch, and then this connects to the switch, and all my computers in my room connects to the switch where they can talk to each other, obviously, and have access to the internet. And of course, it's a 2.5 gigabit switch. I did have some 1 gigabit switches, but since this thing is capable of up to 10 gigabits, and it has one 2.5 gigabit port and one 1 gigabit, I don't remember the exact configuration specifications of this thing, but I wanted to utilize the 2.5, and 10 gig is kind of expensive, so I'm okay with 2.5 for now. So this is the setup. You can pause the video if you would like to make sense of this mess I've created. Obviously, you can see there are 4 bays here. The way I have it set up is that I have 2. So the first 2 are 2 16 terabyte Seagate Exos X24 server hard drives. They are configured in XFS mode. This is my main array, and it's used for archival purposes, and actually it's only used for archival purposes. I do have some movies on it that Jellyfin access, but not the majority. So that, and then the 2 slots on the right, originally they were empty, but I decided to go all SSD on my gaming PC, so it had 2 terabytes, some old Western Digital drive. So I was like, why not? I'll just stick it in there. And those two Western Digital drives are in ZFS mode, which brings the total capacity to 4 terabytes, and I store all my Jellyfin movies and shows onto those two, which is a little faster than, you know, the XFS, my main array. I mean, the drives are so old, I don't really notice any difference. And then I do have an SSD, an extra SSD in here on top of the original 128 gigabyte one it came with, which I disabled. If you watched my video, I didn't have to disable it, but you know, it's there. I'm not using it. Anyway, the SSD I have in here is a 118 gigabyte Intel Optane. Super fast drive. I have that in ZFS mode again in configuration. That's for quick access of small files. So I have all my work files on that Optane drive. It's ridiculously fast, and I have it set up so that it makes a snapshot, which is basically a backup of it every hour. So hopefully I don't lose anything on that. So that's my drive configuration on here. Obviously, there is room for one more. I mean, I can replace the original SSD M.2 that's in here, or wipe it and use it. But you know, I don't need it. I'll just keep it in there. But yeah, so that's my drive configuration. And again, the location of it, it's on my desk. As you can see, in the beginning, I had it straight onto the desk, but then the vibrations would kind of loud, so I put a little piece of packing foam underneath it to kind of dampen that sound. But now now I've made the noise lower frequency, so I mean, it does get kind of annoying sometimes, especially when it's checking for parity, but most of the time it's not really noticeable even at night when sleeping. But obviously, if you have a dedicated space for this or a home office, that should not be a problem whatsoever. So now I want to talk about the hardware of this thing. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, I've replaced some hardware in this, but they weren't, I wouldn't say they're performance based. Well, technically they are, because they keep the thermals down. The fan and also the thermal paste. I can't really say that. Well, here's the thing. I basically put the new parts in when it was brand new, so I didn't really have a baseline benchmark of the performance of this thing. So I can't really tell you if changing all those things actually made a noticeable difference. So take that with the grain of salt, I guess. I mean, you can modify it. I mean, or you can, if you haven't modified and you have the same exact setup, or as in, the same exact unit, leave a comment and let me know what your thermals are. I mean, mine's sitting right now, CPU's at 47 degrees Celsius. It's not doing anything right now. My drives are at 45, 42, around like the low 40s degrees Celsius. So there's that. So as you may have noticed, the front I/O indicator status lights, they just cycle. Obviously, if you're using UGOS, they would be blinking or indicating the status of each drive bay, each drive in each bay. However, I'm not on UGOS. I'm using UNRAID, so it can't really control this. I think somebody left a comment a while back saying that there is a plugin now in UNRAID where you can get these status lights to work. I don't care. I put a little business card here to block it anyway. I mean, I can't just disable it fully by taking it apart, but it's not that big of a deal to me, at least of yet. And also the front I/O, I've never used it. I'm sure it makes it easier if you're using UGOS, and say if you have an SD card that you need to dump, you just plug it straight in right here. But I haven't used that because I mainly do everything on my laptop, and I work on it, and then once I'm done with it, I then transfer all the files onto this. I don't edit directly from this. I don't know why. I probably should, but you know, the SSD on my laptop is way faster than this, so yeah. Anyway, that's all the hardware. I mean, it's not too complicated of a machine, and it's been working very consistently, no trouble whatsoever. If it had problems, I would have made a video on it. So that's why the radio silence on this thing is because that it's running so well and no issues. I haven't, you know, had any I mean, like, I never had a reason to make another video on it other than this update video. Right, now software, I am using UNRAID. Again, same with the hardware, no issues, it's been fantastic. This server has been up for 8 months, 21 days and 10 minutes. Oh no, 8 months, 18 days and 21 hours, so that's about 261 days it has been up. In the beginning, I did run into a couple issues where it would just freeze and crash, and I would have to do a hard restart by unplugging the power cord on this thing, which was terrifying to do when the drives are spinning. But you know, they're designed, they have a fail-safe, you know, but don't be doing that all the time. But I did run into an issue with that. I don't know what the cause was, and it just kind of fixed itself. It's been up for 8 months, so no issues whatsoever on that end. Well, not any more issues. Like I mentioned earlier, my ZFS snapshots, well, it's only on the Optane drive, but that one I have a script on there that takes a snapshot of that drive every hour. So that's where I keep all my work files. So any modifications I make to it, I can roll back or, you know, make back. Well, it's essentially a backup, so I can roll back if I mess anything up. So for my 2 main drives, I have the parity check to run every Sunday at 3 a.m. It used to be every day at 4 a.m., but it would take like 20 hours to check the parity. So it would just be running constantly 24/7, because by the time it's finished checking parity, it would be time to check again, which I figured it wasn't much use. Like, I'm not moving files in there that often. It would be like, you know, once every week or so. So I didn't see the point of checking checking parity every day. So I've recently changed it to every Sunday at 3 a.m., which, you know, helped a lot with the noise. Yeah, because it would just run at night, and then the way I set up the main fan, my Noctua fan, the fan curve, I still have to mess with it. It's still kind of weird. It like spins up for a little bit, and then it cools it down. It senses that it cools it down, and then it stops. I guess that's how it should work, but it's just like it spins it up really fast, and it's kind of loud, and it would just like pulse in the middle of the night, which kind of got annoying. So, all right, so here, let me show you what my UNRAID looks like. I know I can just screen record this, but this is easier for me, and I'm sure you can see this stuff. So on the right hand side, you can see all my Dockers running. On the left hand side, you can see that it's been up for 261 days, 21 hours and 21 minutes. Motherboard temperature, it can't really talk to the motherboard, so I do not have the temperature here. If you have a solution for this, let me know, but I don't really care about motherboard temperature. And then here we have the processor. It does have it does read the temperature for the processor, so there's that. And this is our processor here, which is the Intel Pentium Gold 8505, whatever that means. If that means something to you, good job. And this is at idle right now. It's fairly tame. And for the memory, which I forgot to mention, that I have upgraded the RAM to 24 gigabytes instead of the 8 that it comes with. So I just put another stick of 16 in there. So now it has 24, and probably The only thing that uses it at idle would be the ZFS. And then when I'm watching something on Jellyfin, it would spike a little bit, but mostly it would be the processor, the CPU that would spike up. So, and here I have my inbound and outbound network speed. It's cool to look at when you're transferring files, but mostly it's just like that. And then down here is my array information / parity information right here. So you can see parity last checked 4 days ago on last Sunday. And here you have my temperatures for the array. So you can see temperatures are very nice. Two main drives are at 42 and 45 degrees Celsius. Optane 39, it's a SSD. And then my two random Western Digital drives are at 43 and 38 degrees Celsius. So overall, temperature is really nice. When it was checking for parity every day, so when it was running 24/7, it would go up to like 50 something. Well, the two main drives in my array. So that wasn't very fun. That's why I have it check every Sunday. Now on the right over here, again, I'll go over to my Dockers. As you can see, there's a few of them that aren't on. Let me just go over this real quick. This is what I actually use on this thing. You can see, you know, a lot of people have way more than this. This is just like a beginner type situation going on. Up top here, you see AdGuard. AdGuard Home. Whoop, I keep clicking it. You have to click the icon. I don't remember the password, but that is basically an ad block, a network-wide ad block, which I have. I route my internet traffic through this thing using I think a Cloudflare tunnel. I route all my internet traffic through this so it can block ads for me. It works 90% of the time. It's amazing. Sometimes, the only time it kind of gets annoying is when you click on those shopping links on Google or like DuckDuckGo. When you look up shopping links and it's at the top, but it's sponsored, it categorizes that as an ad. I know there's probably settings in here that you can change it so that it doesn't, block it, but I mean, the trade-offs aren't that significant, so I'm just gonna leave it on the default settings. Second one, Agent DVR, never used it. I tried connecting my home security cameras to it. Didn't really have any luck because I just used those cheapo security cameras, IP cameras you get on Amazon, and yeah, they don't work very well. I mean, they work, but trying to set them up on here, maybe it's me, but it took me a while, never got it working. A-List. This is something I talked about. See, I keep clicking it again. You gotta click the icon. This is something I talked about, which in my initial videos, never used this. For some reason, I just never use this. I have it set up to my domain and everything so I can access these shared folders when I'm away from home. However, never used it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I don't have any plans for it, so that's something I really don't use. Not that much. And Minecraft server, everybody knows that. Went through another Minecraft phase again. There's that, it's still running. Cloudflare tunnel, extremely useful. Everything else wouldn't be working without it, so yay to Cloudflare. These two, disk speed, I tried doing something, checking the disk speed. It's utterly useless. That's why it's disabled. I should probably just remove it. HomeR, this thing was really cool. It's kind of like a dashboard for like your smart home or for your home lab, whatever you want to call it. Never set it up because, again, I don't use it the way it's intended. Like, I don't use it as much. I only use it as like a storage. So I don't have any smart home devices. I don't have any automation that I need to do, nothing. And it was just kind of complicated to set up, so I never really got into it. There's that, that's why it's disabled. Oh, this I use a lot, image. And the database for it is PostgreSQL. These two go hand in hand. This is that's the data, what do you call it? I don't know what you call it. Put it right here. These two, they work together. Image, I use it to access all my archival footage when I'm away. I mean, like when I'm on my phone, so I can look at it instead of going into the folder and clicking through each folder. I'll just go on image and I do that. One thing I don't do is I don't back up my cell phone photos, so the photos that are on my iCloud, onto image. I don't know why. Some people do it, some people don't. I just don't like to mix it. This is strictly for my archival footage. And then Jellyfin, of course, everybody knows Jellyfin. I use this every day. It's probably the second most, well, it's probably the most used thing because I don't use AdGuard, it's just running in the background. But Jellyfin is the most used thing. Second would be image. Again, oh, this is the Cloudflare tunnel. This is a DDNS. I don't remember what that's used for, but that's that. It's like, I don't know, it's pretty straightforward. I don't have that many things. A lot of people have, like, you know, dozens of Dockers and plugins, and you know, my plugins are very simple too. Compose Manager, never used it. I was trying to download something, put a custom Docker or whatever on it, I don't remember. Dynamics File Manager, so you can, you know, access files, look at files in UNRAID, something like that. Oh, here you go. Looks like that. Never used it. And then system temperature. I mean, it just shows you the CPU temperature on the bottom here. Never look at it. Unbalanced. I don't remember what this does. Oh, transfers. So you can transfer files directly on UNRAID. Never used it. User scripts, I don't think I used that. ZFS master, I think I used that to set up, I think I used a user script to set up my snapshot times for the ZFS. But that's about it. So let me go back to my Docker real quick. I just wanted to briefly go over Jellyfin, because Jellyfin is a magical thing. So on my iPhone, I only use this to access the music part. I don't watch anything on this phone, even though it's super big. But the only thing I probably do that's related to Jellyfin is this one right here. It's called Monet. I don't know how to use, oh shit, it's doing stuff. This is app. It's a smaller app. I used to use FinAmp. FinAmp looks like this. It's just a whole very different interface. I used to use FinAmp until I found out about this app. Looks like Apple Music, so you're very familiar with you know, this UI right here, and then, you know, it's literally basically the Apple Music UI. So it's very easy to find stuff. You can download stuff directly onto your device. And yeah, only thing is it only has a iPhone app for now. It doesn't have an iPad app. The iPad app it doesn't have an icon. It's basically just the iPhone app. So there's that. Hopefully they make an iPad app, but if not, I am not, you know, too concerned about it. Oh, and then while I'm here on my iPad, I used SwiftFin iOS for all the, you know, to access my movies and shows. And then on my TV, I used SwiftFin for Apple TV. Yeah, so I don't see many people using this app. I did have some issues with it, and I was able to email the developer directly from here, and we were able to solve the issue. So awesome developer. It's free. There is a paid version where you can do some things, you know, toggle the library, ignore stuff, but you know, you can get a lot done. I mean, the free version basically has everything that you would possibly need. So there's that. I can access this while I'm at home or while I am not at home, because my Jellyfin is tied to my server domain instead of just running on my internal network. So I can access this anywhere I want. But it's kind of slow when watching movies. It takes a long time to buffer, so it might not be the best option. So yeah, because I think Cloudflare, being free, it has some limitations. So that's why. Now in terms of issues, I haven't really ran into any issues other than the one that I described earlier where it would freeze, you know, in the beginning, but that only happened about a few times, you know, two, three times. So, and it solved itself afterwards. So that wasn't really an issue. The only few issues I have with this thing, I think they're all, you know, user-related issues, as in it's not this thing's fault. So first of all, inconsistent transfer speed for the main array. It could be some bottleneck in my network configuration. It could be, you know, the way the drives are set up in XFS, which, you know, the speed isn't as fast as ZFS, of course. So that could be the issue, but you know, I would, you know, it would fluctuate. This transfer speed would fluctuate a lot while I'm transferring files. It would, you know, it could be multiple individual files or one big file. It just doesn't stay consistently at, you know, 2.5 gigabits, which I don't expect to, but you know, it should be able to handle that. I just haven't really found out how like a fix yet. So if you know a fix or if you know how to do that, please leave a comment. It's not bothering me too much because I'm not transferring files every day onto it. But if I were, then it would bother me. Maybe that's why I haven't gotten around to fix it yet. But the second thing is that I still need to optimize the fan speed curve. Like I described earlier, it would spin up really fast and then stop. A couple seconds later, spin up again and then stop. So I just need to kind of adjust the fan curve so that it's more consistent. But again, it's not that thing's fault because I set the fan curve myself. I can't blame this thing. It's been fantastic, the hardware. So there's that. And then another one, this one's out of my control, is with Image, the photo app, Docker, whatever application, whatever you want to call it. Image likes to delete itself when I'm updating it. So, and it only happens sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time. It happens randomly. When I update it, when I see an update and I update it, sometimes it updates just fine. And other times, it just deletes itself. The configuration and all the files are there, still there. It's just the Docker. When I update it, gone. It's just gone. So I had to reinstall Image a couple times, which was kind of annoying. Now I haven't updated this since, like, I don't know, it's May right now. I haven't updated Image since March. So I'm a few versions behind, but it's been working well. But the redeeming side of it is that I don't have to reconfigure it every time it chooses to delete itself, or it decides to delete itself for some reason. I would just have to re-download, reinstall Image from the app stores, if you will, and everything would be working again. So never found out why it did that. It may happen again, so I'm not sure. I just haven't updated it. I'll update it once it stops working, maybe. But those are probably the three issues that I've been having with it. Other than that, they're all very minor issues that doesn't really affect, your day-to-day use. When I want to access files, it's there, it's fast enough. I watch movies, I listen to music. It's just there, it works. It's just in the background, does its job. However, there is still room for improvement. And some of the things I want to do to it are, better quality of life upgrades. So basically, first of all, I want to set up tail scale so I can access the UNRAID dashboard when I'm not home. If you don't know what tail scale is, I can't explain it to you because I don't even know what it is. My friend Kane sent me a whole article about it. I haven't gotten a chance to read it, sorry, but from what I've heard, it's awesome. So that's one of the probably my next project for this thing is to set up tail scale. I gotta learn how that works, so yay, maybe I'll make a video on that. And the second thing I'd like to do with it is to figure out how Obsidian works and actually use it. I'd like to host it myself. If you don't know what Obsidian is, it's kind of like a note-taking app that's kind of like a mind map, your own Wikipedia of your own brain, something along those lines, which I am a very big fan of. My notes are scattered over handwritten notes, over the Apple Notes app, over Notion. I just want everything in one place and easily accessible. And I feel like that Obsidian is the ultimate tool for this. I have it downloaded actually on here, Obsidian on my iPad and on my MacBook, but I never gotten around to setting it up because I never looked into how to set up the database and the front end and the back end for it. So that's probably the project after the Tailscale project. And last but not least, obviously get more drives. I only have two 18 terabyte drives. I've only used like half of it, not even half. There's like 10 terabytes left. And then I would just want to upgrade the other two drives, maybe get another two 18 terabytes so I can put more movies on it, because right now the 4 terabytes are full of movies and TV shows. So there's that. That's about it. Not much else with it. Again, I keep saying this. It's just been working so well that I don't ever think about it. When I want to use it, it's there, and never gave me any trouble, and it's just doing its job. So that's why I haven't really had a chance to, do anything to it, because it just does its job. I like it. Should you buy it? Maybe, if you have the money, go ahead. I mean, who's it for? It's probably for people that has a lot of storage. So, I mean, if you have a family, you go travel a lot, or you just have a lot of video footage or files that you want to access and you don't want to pay for cloud storage, and you don't want these big tech corporations to hold your files hostage, get one of these. I mean, the electricity costs are insignificant. Oh yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, electricity costs. People are like, oh, you're gonna spend as much on electricity costs, the same as like a Apple iCloud subscription. No, it doesn't use that much electricity. It's just there in the background. What else? Oh, if you want your own home media server, definitely get this. I mean, I don't know how else. I mean, you can run it on your PC or your computer, but you'd have to have it on all the time, or you'd have to turn it on every time you want to watch something, and that's just kind of dumb. Like, I'll just watch it on here. So, yeah, I think that it's for people who has a lot of content, or people who make content, people edit off of this, or just for people that want to own their own stuff. It's fairly straightforward. Nowadays, they want you to own nothing and be happy. I own my thing and I'm happy too, so I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them in the comments. So feel free to leave any comments. If you have any suggestions on what I should do with it or what you would like to see I do with it, also leave a comment. If I did anything stupid, or if you know, if you have any suggestions on my setup, on the way I set this up, also feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. And yeah, thanks for watching, and that's about it. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.